Hi, I'm Tom Nicoll, and I'm the author of Level Up, a series of books about a video game obsessed girl named Flo and her long-suffering best friend Max, who find themselves trapped inside a number of video games that they have to try and escape from. The series is illustrated by the fantastic Anjan Sarkar, and I'm going to read for you now the opening chapter of the latest book in the series, Beast Battles. Max, you still alive? I asked. I think so, he replied, sitting up and wiping drool off his glasses. You? Of course I am. I just asked you, I said. Oh, yeah. Right, he said. Sorry, I wasn't thinking straight. Probably from being eaten. It was a bit much to take in, especially when the thing that had eaten you was the size of a large bunny. On the other hand, Max and I had seen and experienced quite a lot of strange things recently. Ever since a machine my mum built had accidentally transported us into a video game, we'd flown in epic space battles, been catapulted across a world made of blocks, and helped improve countless virtual lives along the way. When you think about it, is being eaten by a harmless looking fluffy animal really that odd? Actually, yes it is. It's surprisingly big in here, don't you think? Asked Max. You're right, I agreed, staring around the cavern that was the inside of the creature that had eaten us. The walls were soft and fleshy, and it was a bit like being inside a hollowed out giant pink flan. I guess we're in another game then, one involving creatures with huge appetites. No kidding, said Max, pointing at some of the other things the creature had snacked on. They included a grandfather clock, a stop sign, a variety of trees and assorted shrubbery, a couch, tyres of several different sizes, a small boat, an entire fish tank complete with fish. What's that thing there? Asked Max, pointing at a small round hole in the middle of all the junk. It was black and swirling and kind of gooey, like a really thick soup. I don't know, I admitted. Could be a wall glitch. Best not go near it. Video game tip. Wall glitches are bugs in games where players can pass through walls they shouldn't be able to, sometimes resulting in the player falling forever. Or at least until they restart the game. Max nodded slowly. How are we going to get out of here then? You're not going anywhere, so pipe down already, a voice boomed. Max and I looked around. Who said that? I asked. Who do you think? Replied the voice. It sounded female. Me, the thing that ate you. You can hear us? Asked Max. Of course I can hear you, she said. I'm right here. As you can hear us, I said, you better just go ahead and spit us out. Right now. The creature made a snorting sound that caused her insides to jiggle, almost knocking us over. Or what? She laughed. Or, I said, trying to think of something. Okay, I don't know what, but you should let us go. I'm afraid I disagree, she said. Disagree, I repeated, stroking my chin, an idea starting to form. That's it, Max, I've got it. You have? He asked. We're basically her food, right? I said. And we're in disagreement. Now, what normally happens when food disagrees with someone? Max considered this for a moment. They throw up. But Flo, that expression doesn't literally mean the person is arguing with their lunch. I rolled my eyes. Obviously I know that. But the principle is the same. We're going to make her throw up. You wouldn't, said the creature, though she didn't sound convinced. We'll have to disagree on that too, I said, as I started jumping around in her stomach. Come on, Max. Max joined me, flinging himself into the soft, mushy walls as I repeatedly stomped on the floor. After half a minute or so of this, there was a loud groaning noise. Oh, please, stop, said the creature. I think I'm going to... There was a loud retch. Then another, and another, and then we shot out into the bright daylight and landed in a crumpled heap on the grass, covered in drool. I ducked as the grandfather clock flew past us. That's better, I said, getting to my feet and wiping off the slobber as best I could. I turned round, ready to give the creature a piece of my mind, but when I saw it, I stopped. She was in tears, her tiny yellow, fluffy paws covering her eyes. Are you alright? Asked Max. No, she admitted. Max gave me a look that said, yeah, I know she just ate us, and we have every right to be angry, but she's clearly going through something right now, so we should probably be the bigger people and see if we can help her. He packed a lot into that look. I sighed. What's your name? Hungerbun, she sniffed. I'm Flo, and this is Max, I said. You want to tell us what's wrong? What's wrong? Repeated Hungerbun. Oh, just my life's dream being destroyed, that's all. Your dream was to eat us, asked Max, understandably confused. What? No! My dream is to compete in the battles, but that's never going to happen. You were comfort snacks, and I can't even get that right. I'm such a failure. I decided to skip past the part about us being comfort snacks. The battles? What are they? She looked up at us in shock, her eyes red from rubbing and snot dangling from her tiny nose. You new in town? She asked. Something like that, said Max. The battles are a tournament where creatures team up and compete against one another, said Hungerbun, her face brightening as she explained. 16 teams of 2, each creature bringing their own unique abilities to the fight, until only one team is left standing. I've been watching the battles ever since I hatched. It's always been my dream to compete in them, and now that I'm finally old enough, it's not going to happen. Why not? Asked Max. Because I can't find anyone who wants to team up with me, and they don't let you enter as a single, she said. You get overexcited and accidentally eat 1 or 2 potential teammates, and suddenly word gets out and no one wants to be your partner. I coughed both of them back up, but no one ever mentions that part, do they? I grabbed Max by the arm and pulled him to one side. I've just figured out what game this is, I whispered. It's Critter Clash. A look of realisation dawned on Max's face. Of course! Critter Clash was one of those games that everyone knew about, even people like Max who weren't into games. Playgrounds were always full of kids, or creature coaches, discussing tactics or recounting glorious victories. I bet we have to help Hungerbun win the tournament to escape the game, I said. Max nodded. I think you're probably right. Help me? Sniffed Hungerbun. But you don't look like creatures. You look more like coaches. But no one's seen a coach in years. We are, I said, and we like to become yours. What does she mean no one's seen one in years? Asked Max. It's probably because Critter Clash is so popular they keep bringing out new versions, I whispered. I got mine a couple of years ago, but no one plays it anymore, and Mum won't let me get the new one because she says I've got enough games. Which is ridiculous. How can anyone have enough games? So, what makes you qualified exactly? Interrupted Hungerbun. Max and I looked at each other. Well, Max is really clever, I said. He can come up with game plans and strategies and tactics, that kind of thing. And I can show you some awesome fighting moves. Oh yeah? Said Hungerbun. Like what? Like my dropkick of doom, for starters, I said, before launching myself into the air, feet first. Unfortunately, I quickly discovered that doing the move while playing a video game was a lot easier than doing the move while in a video game. I landed on my back with a massive, embarrassing thud. I looked up at Hungerbun, who didn't seem hugely impressed. Actually, said Max, Flo is really good at making you do things you don't want to do. I glared at him. But that's a good quality in a coach, he clarified, before adding under his breath. Not always in a best friend, mind you. Hungerbun looked like she was giving the idea serious thought, but then she just shrugged. Even if I were to accept, weren't you listening earlier? She asked. The battles are tag team only. I can't enter without a partner, and the tournament starts tonight. What if we could find you a partner before then, I asked. Could we be your coaches? Hungerbun gave us a long look before holding out her little paw. Deal.